Hey everyone, if you're watching this replay, enjoy the replay. Otherwise, we go live with Coffee with the Critters every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. Live to you from Northwest Ohio. Hey everybody, trying a new format this morning. Good morning, good morning. Morning, Dana, Tim. Trying a new format this morning and experimenting with it. I think I got it down. I think I understand it. Good morning. Here I am. So bear with me. Good morning, Bettina. Hey, Bobby. Hey, Chris. I've got my list of things to talk about today. Each week I keep getting up earlier and earlier. Morning, Steve. Hey, Shelly. Hey, Sarah. Each week I keep getting up earlier and earlier. This morning I was up at a little bit before 5 a.m. Good morning, Susan. Hey, Connie. I'll see you, Connie, in June at the workshop. Hey, Jeannie. Hey, Melinda. So yeah, I have some new things for you this morning. Let me see. So I've got some, I like that. I can do all kinds of crazy stuff. Like I can split my screen different ways. Woohoo. Good morning. Hopefully everybody has their coffee. And I can also just disappear. So I'm experimenting with this. So bear with me. Let's get that back up there. All right. Good morning, everybody. Hey. Hey, Lydia. And I see Crystal's in here. She is our social media director. I'm sure Karen, our manager, will be in here soon. Yeah, I've had plenty of coffee. I think I'm on about my fourth cup. So let me know, anybody, if my screen freezes, anything like that. I have a lot of different photos, ideas I want to share with everybody. This morning's topic is winter enrichment, and I thought that was relevant to the time of year, depending on where you are tuning in from. Good morning, Nancy Forrester from Key West. Yes, I just booked my trip to Key West, and I will be seeing Nancy Forrester soon, and I will be doing a live stream from Key West. So let's go ahead and get started, because I have a lot to talk to you about this morning. So for those that may be new and are not familiar with this weekly episode, my name is Lara Joseph, owner of the Animal Behavior Center. We are an international educational center, live streaming our services through our memberships and projects on animal behavior training and enrichment to people interested all over the world. It is the way I can help you, give you weekly guidance and live streams, Q&As. We're very active in our memberships and projects. And I teach people how to interact with animals, learn more about animals through using positive reinforcement and applied behavior analysis. So as we get started, I want to hear from you guys. What is your favorite part of attending Coffee with the Critters? Because I know a lot of people watch the replays. And the replays are great. They're there. There's a whole library here for you guys. And I know what I do in the mornings is when I'm listening to podcasts or replays of things, I just tune it in on my phone. I don't even have to look at it, and I just listen to it. I do that quite a bit. And so, yeah, I know a lot of you get up very early in the morning, even on the West Coast, to attend Coffee with the Critters. So I give it my all to be able to knowledge. Tamara, good, thanks. Yeah, hopefully you guys are getting that, and obviously I'm reinforcing that behavior because you guys keep showing up. So as we get started, last week I had mentioned Susan says variety of topics. Yeah, I try to keep each week different, and we're going to have several things here coming up. We have some interviews. We have a co-host coming in a couple of weeks. Our next one is a Q&A, information and seeing it done with animals. So that's what Melissa says. I know recently I've been sitting here at my desk in my office and not out with the animals. So that will change. Next week, you will see us broadcasting live back from the Animal Behavior Center. And when you guys ask questions, I have a variety of animals I can just turn around and give demonstrations to you guys. But also, Facebook announced that they're changing their algorithms, so my live streams may not be showing up in your news feed. So there's two things you can do. On your Facebook page, if you go up to the right-hand side, you'll see those three little dots. If you click on that, you'll see a drop-down menu, and you can turn on notifications. The other thing you can do is select See First. And as always, we appreciate your shares. If you share this with people you think who would benefit from our live streams, even if they're just watching the replays. And you can always sign up for our email newsletter list. If you're on this, if you're looking at our Facebook page from your desktop, if you just look to the left, it'll say email newsletter list. You can sign up there. And if you are interested in in-depth detail on how to engagement Q&As, more detailed interviews, you can find those in our memberships and our projects, which is on our website at theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. Okay, so good morning, Katie. Good morning. Hey, Joel. There's Joel. He was just on for a live stream a couple of weeks ago, and I repurposed that content into our last newsletter. If you're on our email newsletter list, you won't miss an episode of Coffee with the Critters. So Susan says she loves the evolution of Coffee with the Critters interviews co-host. Good, because we have some good things coming up for you. Let's go ahead and get started with our topic, which is winter enrichment, where I don't believe I typed. Winter enrichment. There we go. Snow. So I went out yesterday and took a bunch of different videos for you guys to show you some of the different things that we do with the animals here during the winter. I always look forward to the winter because that is time. The daylight hours are less. I have more time to design things, and I take advantage of the winter to plan for the spring. In rearranging environments, rearranging outdoor aviaries, outdoor play areas, expanding different play areas, and you can move different areas, play areas through. We have several different gates here, mobile gates that we can shift and move and get animals out into different areas they may not be as familiar with. So you guys hear me always say, keep your animal used to change. That can be tough during the winter because usually our environments are smaller because we've lost the outdoors. We've lost the aviaries temporarily. So it takes just a little bit of thought, creativity, imagination. Hey, Patricia. Bowls of snow used for enrichment. Could that work for parrots? Absolutely. So there's Patricia's son. And those are the photos and the videos I took yesterday, but just found out this morning that I can't upload videos into this broadcast. I'm going to figure that out unless I share my screen, but the screen was really choppy. So I took a bunch of photos, and I do have a couple in here. So bowls of snow being used for parrots for enrichment. Yes, we have. Let me pull this in here. There you go. I put up yesterday I incorporated snowballs into all of the animals' environment. Because I cannot upload the video, I will do it afterwards and post them in the replay because they are hilarious. Especially with, let's see, Milo, our pig, Pocahontas, as you see here, the porcupine. I wasn't sure. This is an African crested porcupine. Pretty sure she has never seen snow, and she is on a heated floor, so that snowball didn't last too long. But there was ways that I hid the snow, or hid her food inside that snowball, and she really enjoyed it. I expected her not to like it, but she sat and ate the whole snowball, and she chewed it off one piece at a time. So yeah, we can use snowballs. There's different ways to do it. You can even freeze them and freeze the food inside. But a couple of different things I wanted to talk about. First, where are you going to get snow, Patricia? Yeah, you want me to send you some down? So there's colder temps. A couple of other things like Levi, our deaf Old English bulldog, does not care for the colder temps. But there's different things I'm going to show you that even if you don't have snow, I can show you different things. Snow is only a part of it. Good morning, Adrian. So I know our aviaries are shut down a lot of times up north and in the United States during the winter. Behavior issues can arise because your animals are usually spending more time inside. As far as like in zoo environments, they're kept more inside. The snow may be too deep for some of the animals to not go out, and the depth of the snow could punish the behavior of animals wanting to go outside. There's different things we do here. But let's go ahead and get started with some different photos because I want to share with you guys. And I have a wide variety of animals in which I'm going to incorporate slides into this program this morning. So Tamara says, or you could use ice cubes. Yes, and we did that in, I believe, our last Enrichment episode of Coffee with the Critters. We did a lot of food in ice cubes. So get creative. This was in my other house. This was in our sunroom. There are 2 play gyms here. I don't know if you can see that. But in the winter is the time that I would design new playstations. And I'm not talking just for parrots. We design all kinds of new enrichment here in the winter. Katie says she remembers that room. I loved that room. Loved that room. It was my favorite place to sit and drink coffee and watch TV. Obviously, animals moved into the house and the TV and the coffee went away. But yeah, I love working with PVC with numerous different animals. I have some PVC photos that I forgot to upload here, different devices you can make for mammals on the ground. But I did a lot of, I call these playstations. And the one here, I wish I could show my cursor on here, but you can see Rocky on the left. That was designed for an individual bird, a bird with a shorter tail, and numerous different steps, and we interlock and change that PVC. So each time Rocky got on it, on the PlayStation, the turns would move. It's really easy to implement. Patricia says that Bird Talk is looking for some photos of parrot enrichment setups. We have a column plan called Aviary. Awesome. So, yeah, if anybody needs pictures of enrichment, I have a ton of them because that, as you guys know, we have a very large enrichment team here at the Animal Behavior Center. That's important because it's such an important part of the animal's daily activities. Enrichment keeps them mentally and physically stimulated. But in this photo, you will also see there's 2 play gyms. The one on the right, it doesn't have as many turns and twists. It has high perches, but not as high as Rocky's. Rocky's were high, built on individual behaviors of Rocky. Don't forget, these are prey animals. They may not necessarily like being on display in front of a window where they may not know that that hawk outside can't get them. So this was designed specifically for Rocky. The one on the right was designed for Murray, longer tail. Adam says, Lara, I love those PlayStations. Where can you get them? Get creative. I made these, and this is these PlayStations are some of the things that we show how to make in the Parrot project. So on to the next photo. This is a favorite of ours around here, and no, I do not get any kickback from this. This is and I don't know, Joel, who has this? I know I suggest this to people. Patricia says, do you use vet wrap on all PVC play stands? For parrots? Yes, especially if they cannot fly. We have a couple here that can't fly due to a broken wing, not being allowed to fledge or learning. So yeah, otherwise they fall off of it, and that can punish the behavior going on it. You are very welcome, Adam. This is the Foobler. We use this. I have tried it with parrots. We should probably incorporate that more. But what it is, it's a 6-chambered device, and you can feed your animals their breakfast. We use this primarily with the dogs and Milo, the mini pig. Inside, you take off that, if you take off that red lid, there's 6 chambers, and you can divide the animal's breakfast up into those 6 chambers. And on the bottom is a timer. You can set it to 15 minutes, half hour, or more. And every 15 minutes, the bell goes off. And so that's audible enrichment there in a conditioned reinforcer. That bell goes off. That one chamber is released into the ball, and then the animal has to move the ball around to get all that pieces of food from just that one chamber. Then if you have it set up to set 15 minutes, bing, the bell goes off in 15 minutes. The animal hears that, goes running to the ball, starts moving this around. The only thing I don't like about this toy is that it's loud. It's loud because it's hard plastic, and yeah, Pavlov. It's hard plastic, and it just creates a lot of noise. That's why we use some other softer rubber enrichment here. On Amazon for $83. No, it should not be for $83. We used to sell them here for $30. We don't sell them anymore. Go to Amazon. You should be able to buy it for about $30 or $35. Something else. Because we train and enrich a wide variety of animals here for our wildlife ambassadors, and those providing yummy. How you like that at 9:20 in the morning? So this was some enrichment made by some volunteers at Nature's Nursery Wildlife Rehabilitation Center, just putting different food parts and then freezing them. This is beautiful. So here they have what looks like smelt, frozen, and some different vegetables frozen. Here we will take blocks of ice and freeze Willie, the turkey vulture, her food. We cut it up in bits. You can even, like something like this, you can screw an eye hook into it, hang it from a chain. So the animal, that creates a level of complexity. So the animal goes to bite it and the chain moves. I love hanging foraging devices on chain. Yeah, breakfast, yummy. Joel says, where'd you go, Joel? There you go. Probably good for some of our bigger dogs who need to eat slower. You're talking about that, the last picture, it was the food blur. Yes, you can even have You can even use the slow feeders. Joel, are you familiar with what those are? So here is, let's try this out. Nope, wrong one. This? That's better. Here's Molly, the ring-tailed lemur that was here last year for training. Certain times of the day, she could not get out of the enclosure because it was not safe for her or some of the other animals here. So we used to take her fruits and vegetables. We also took banana baby food and froze them in Kongs. And here you can see it's causing her, what we were trying to do was get her to use her hands more, her front hands. And we started by hanging this Kong, this frozen Kong, on a chain, so it was easy for her to grab. And then we slowly shaped it to the point where she had to go pick it up and use her hands. So that came in extremely handy. Here's another one for an African pied crow that we had in from a zoo for training. This was so much fun. Just to watch. And this was so much fun to watch. This was adding a level of complexity. Adam asks, Lara, do you have pics of the things on the chains as you just said? Yes, we do. I didn't upload them into this broadcast, but I can get those for you, Adam. And we hung this in the center of this African pied crow's enclosure. And when working with birds, if they're flighted, make sure that it's set up. We do special cage arrangement here. Birds do not like their wings hitting things when they're in flight. So we hung this from the center of his enclosure, and he already knew what was inside of it because we shaped that behavior. And then he had to actually fly onto the object and hang on to it to forage through it. And it was so fun for us to watch that a lot of our volunteers just stood around watching him instead of working, which is fine. But we also, this was shown, a lot of this was shown in our level 2 membership, where it's primarily for people interested in working with animals using applied behavior analysis. It's full of wildlife educators and people that work in zoos. So we live streamed almost daily when Kronos was in. Here's another one with different types of enrichment. We take this is Snow, our deaf and blind puppy. Look at how she's using her paw. I love that with her. So you can see she manipulates that toy. There's frozen food in there. I can't remember what it is, but a lot of times I love that toy because it's full of all kinds of little holes everywhere. And we put pate in there and freeze the pate. You can also put canned dog food in there, or whatever you feed. Even if you feed raw, you can stick that raw food in there and freeze it. And they can eat out of a dish in about 1 minute, or you can give them something like this that takes them 20 minutes to a half an hour. There's some photos I wasn't able to upload, but something else I did yesterday is I take the dog kibble and I throw it in the backyard instead of sticking it in a dish. The added level of complexity there is add some snow to that. So now they have to forage through the snow, use their sniffer, which wears them out. They have to forage through the snow. And instead of 30 seconds of kibble in a dish, this took Quincy probably 45 minutes to eat her dinner last night. It was great. So next photo, we do this with our parrots. We do this with the turkey vulture. We do this with Pocahontas, the porcupine that's in from a zoo for training right now. We do this with her. We do this with the parrots for sure. What other animals here do we do this with? Did I say Milo? Yeah, and you can even, these we purchased. We purchased these, but you can also use like paper towel, the core of the paper towel rolls, and just twist the ends shut. You can also shove those full of actual paper towels to make the foraging a little tougher. And we bought these from Noah's Ark and Novelty. And whereas in our projects, you get certain discounts from different organizations. So we buy these in bulk from Noah's Ark and Novelty. And let's see, what's next? Oh, okay. Now we're off of food enrichment and back on to agility. So we're big into agility here, not as far as professionally, because we don't do professional agility training. If you're interested in that, I have several friends that do that I can refer you to. And one is the awesome Deb Jones, who will be co-hosting with me here in a couple weeks. But this is Milo. We made this. Our volunteers made this. And I don't know the actual word for it, but I just call it the teeter-totter. And it's great because it gets animals used to unstable surfaces and gets them used to building confidence and moving their bodies in different ways. We train the dogs with this. We train Milo, the pig, as shown. You also see I train agility to Cello, our roller pigeon, who probably will, and he is a rock star. I always tell people, my roller pigeon can do anything your border collie can do, pretty much. We're teaching our roller pigeon to also tell the difference in the suits of cards. So here's some different agility. We have this stuff here at the center. You can purchase agility equipment online. I know I go to, let me type this in, because I know I'm not getting any kickback from this either. I use cleanrun.com a lot for any type of agility equipment or different things I may need, props for the animals. Anyways, you can build this yourself. This is an agility piece of equipment that was given to me by Deb Jones. And we use this on all the animals. It's great. If you guys have been to our workshops, we show how to train to get, usually via a target. Agility, see, there's the awesome Cello. Beginning stages of teaching him to fly through the hoop. But you can purchase this agility equipment online, or you can make it yourself. Patricia says, do you know if anyone makes agility equipment for birds? I do not. But Pat, you can, if you want, because we train the different birds here, agility, just go out and get a hula hoop. That's simple. There's a piece of agility equipment. And what's really cool about agility is, Shannon asked, what's the best beginner agility equipment to start with? Start with a hoop. You can start with, we also have a platform here where you just teach the animal to get up on the platform and station. There's different places online you can purchase it. But you can make, especially with birds, just make it yourself. It's easy. Okay, so, and if you don't have the space to use the agility, you can make up agility in your own home out of things you already have. Chairs, go out and buy a ramp, put the ramp up to the couch. But there's places that rent out their agility rooms, We have one right down the street here that I have a key to, that I go in and I take the dogs. I take Milo. I'm allowed to take in my birds if I want. And that is great enrichment for birds, is taking them to different environments. And I'm going to make a note of that. Let's discuss that, how to shape and plan that in the Parrot project. Yep. Something else I do is teach that. Oh, well, I'll talk about flight here in a little bit. Yep. So here is a chute, and this is our deaf and blind dog going, well, through the tunnel. And these tunnels bend and twist, so you can shape them in different directions. And it's agility, even if you're just doing it for fun, which is what I do, is great relationship builder between you and your animal, because it causes that animal to have to, I've learned not to say look, have to focus on what you are asking it to do. And that is fabulous. That is relationship building. So how do I teach Snow to focus? Our deaf and blind puppy, through touch. She has different cues that around the shoulder means hold, stay. 2 taps on the butt means sit, come forward. And I do a light tap on her chin that says, I'm getting ready to ask something of you. So she will sit and wait for information. Agility is fun. Great relationship building. So here is Quincy on the ramp at the Agility Center. And she loves this. And I also used Quincy to help me teach Snow different agility. There's Snow learning to go through the hoop. And it is so much fun. In the beginning, I usually have to reinforce with food, but the activity of agility becomes so enriching for the animal that they no longer want the food. They just want, tell me what's next. This is fun. What ramp am I going through? What hoop am I jumping through? What chute am I going through? So here's another one. And Quincy's having so much fun. I just posted this because look at the look on her face. She is so excited. She loves this. I need to get them back over there. Here's Levi's like, nope, I'll give you a foot target. That's about all I'm doing. But look at that. He's looking. This is Levi, our deaf dog. He's looking to me for information. He's enjoying this. I can tell this by the look on his face. So Katie says it becomes an adventure. Yes, it does. And it's always something new, and it's so mentally stimulating. So some different things we can do with our animals is, especially during the winter, and this is what I'm getting ready to take advantage of again with our dogs and Milo and Cello. I just got back from the Ohio Wildlife Rehabilitators Conference presenting several different workshops, and I chose to take Levi, our deaf dog, and Cello, our roller pigeon. That was a social outing. Neither one of them had spent a weekend in a hotel with me before, and we had so much fun. I think I probably had the most fun. But if you've never hung out in a weekend at a hotel with a roller pigeon, I highly suggest it. It is very enriching. I had no idea he would like to sit in my lap. Was laying in bed watching TV, and boop, he would just come hang out in my lap and fall asleep. And I was like, well, look at that. There you go. Never saw that one coming. But different social outings. This is Milo when he was very young, obviously, and probably about 45 pounds ago. Taking him on an outing, some different places. That is, talk about continual changing enrichment. So the weather may be too cold for us to take him outside, but we can take him to different places. My mom lives in senior living. So I take my animals to see my mom and the other residents all the time. They love it. It's such good enrichment for them. and it's constantly adding change. Some different way. I mean, we can take them to the pet stores. Oh, let me get Solo on here so you can see little piggy butt. This was, it's just something new, something different. I don't even necessarily need anything at the pet store. I just take them on an outing and let them meet the employees. Something that I do here specifically for socialization of animals is I take the animals, some of them, to the pet store in the winter when there's a snowstorm. I do that on purpose because that eliminates more opportunity for other customers who may not understand appropriate animal etiquette, which is please do not come up and touch my animal without asking. We are here for the animal, not necessarily for the other people. So I go during heavy snowstorms when other people are less likely to be on the road. So we have less encounters with other people, and except for just the staff. And I don't necessarily want to take a pig into a pet store where there's a lot of dogs running around. That's why I do not take pigs to dog parks. My pig may be very well trained, but most dogs in parks are not. That is why I don't take my dogs there either. And if I do, I take them at off times of the day, usually while other people at work. Yes, Jessica says safety wise. Think about these things, guys, because your animal may be well trained. I've seen a lot of fights at dog parks and a lot of beautiful training being undone in a matter of seconds at a pet store. So be careful. And so, sorry, I'm just reading. Reed says, I have a lab who has recently and suddenly went blind and is so tentative of everything now that she lost her sight. She's 7 and she's been in the same house. Nothing changed in the environment. That's probably the problem. Reed, that is probably one of the issues. Why she's showing a lot of fear is because there wasn't any change in her environment. This is a behavior that needs to be shaped. And this is why I tell people, keep your animals used to change. And this socialization can do that. If you're looking for Reed, you may want to take a look at our level 1 membership. It's geared towards companion animal caretakers, and it's full of shaping and training videos, specifically how to do what you're asking. So here, yes, you can even take your pigs for walks. This is me training a client's pig to accept a harness and leash and go for a walk. And something else that you can do in the winter, when do you train your animal to walk loosely on a leash at a dog park? Not at a dog park, okay? Not at the park. Where I start, where I start training my animals, for outings and parks and stuff is in the winter in my living room without a leash and without a harness. That is where I begin, and then I slowly start shaping change, adding in distraction, walking out the front door with the leash on easily overstimulates an animal. So Denise says, do you use a harness to take birds outside? I do not, because I don't use a harness for a bird. I don't use them anyways because I haven't found the need to use them. I don't use a harness for a bird, and I should have had a picture of this, but we have some bird photos coming up. I don't use a harness for a bird. If I did, I would use it for safety, not for restraint, because that bird takes off and hits the end of that harness. That's quickly can be can be paired as an aversive, something the animal doesn't like, and can cause and punish the behavior of the bird wanting to go on a harness again in the future. So Tim says he doesn't harness his birds either. This is what I do. Instead of harnessing birds, and we show this in the Parrot Project, we show all these little steps how to prepare your bird for outings. Take them into different environments. You guys practice that recall, getting that dog, that pig, that bird, that porcupine, that giraffe, that turkey vulture to come to you when you ask. One behavior I keep on a continuous schedule of reinforcement, meaning every single time the behavior happens, a reinforcer is delivered, that is for a recall. I need you to come 30 feet out of the rafters to my hand when I ask you. I request it. I don't command it. I train it. I teach it. It is a good thing to want to do. I train that because get your recalls down pat right now in the winter, because summer comes, you're taking your animals outside. They're usually too overstimulated. It's too big of steps, and the animal's not going to listen to you a lot of times. So with birds, I crate them, take them to different environments. I do take my birds, Rico and Rocky. We haven't done this in quite a while. I need to do it. And if Joel's still on here, we had talked about this with Cello and Roller Pigeon. You can take and do it carefully. Do it carefully. There is a series of steps, safety steps that need to be taken, and not every candidate is a perfect candidate. But we take the birds into gymnasiums. When I'm in an airport, I always sit there and look, wow, I would love to bring the birds here and fly, especially the airport in Denver, Colorado. I sat there and I was like, holy cow, this would be a great place to fly birds. I go into restaurants and see rafters, and I was like, I wonder if they'll let me come in here and bring my birds on outings. So taking them on outings is different, is so much fun. And if you guys follow the work that we do with Rocky, within the memberships and the projects, we teach how to prepare your animal to go to the vet. And if you watch Rocky, Rocky loves to go to the vet. And what you're seeing right now is the reinforcer being delivered after a behavior. The behavior is accepting restraint during a nail trim. And we train that for animals to accept restraint, because are we 100% force-free? No, because accidents happen. And we are primarily force-free. But there are times when our animals need to be restrained for their safety, the safety of other animals, or our safety. This is why we teach muzzle training for dogs. This is why we teach the birds to allow us to come in and towel them. And I think I have some photos of that coming up, because there are times where certain things need to happen to you that you cannot move. This is in your best interest for the health of that animal. One of those things we're going to start working on in the Parrot Project is Coco, accepting restraint, because I have a concern with Coco. I think Coco is a lot older than what we think he is. I say he's 28. I think he's older than that. And his health is not the greatest. And for that much stress to be towed during a nail trim, I was honestly concerned about his life. So I'm just sitting there going, you need to train this. So winter is the perfect time to start training to go to a vet for husbandry and grooming. And we have some different things coming up, different photos coming up. But Rocky used to be scared to death of the vet. Rocky now loves to go to the vet, and he lets us, I have some upcoming podcasts on how to, choosing the veterinarian and working as a team. If veterinarians know your animals are trained to accept restraint and do certain things, they most of the time allow you to do certain things, or they respect that because it makes their job a lot easier. And I just say, you don't have to force the animal on the scale. You don't have to force them on the table. You don't have to restrain him to accept a stethoscope. They're trained to accept it. And your veterinarian will usually appreciate that. It makes their jobs a lot easier. So the woman in this photo is Carol. She's one of our vet techs, and the two technicians in the background. Everybody loves Rocky when Rocky comes to the vet. And right here, Carol gets down on the floor and plays with him after his nail trims and his gram stains, and he steps up on the scale. I love that a lot. And this particular veterinarian, this is Dr. Myers, Hartman Veterinary Clinic here in Toledo. Rocky loves Dr. Myers. So we go to Dr. Myers. And they listen to me and I listen to them. And we work very well as a team for the benefit of the animal. So let's see what I have up next. More socializing. Let me put solo because we're missing an animal there. Here's our 3 cockatoos and our roller pigeon. Not only do I take animals out interacting with other people as socialization, I have them interact with each other, sometimes through cage bars, because I can't always be there to entertain them. I need them to be there to provide comfort and enrichment for each other. I've been forgetting to look at some of your guys' comments, so my bad. There's Deb. Rocky is a rock star. There's Deb Jones. She'll be joining me. She's going to be co-hosting in 2 weeks from today, as long as the weather in Cleveland and Toledo holds up. Let me see what Melinda says here, because Melinda's really into behavior as well. She says, I know it's controversial, but what you said about restraint for the animal's safety is exactly why I refuse to pay to be force-free. That concept only works for dogs and cats. Yeah, and as the awesome Paul Chance has said, let me get my face back on here. Hi. Do I ever use positive punishment? Yes, I do. When the alternative of not using it is worse. But when I have to use force to get a behavior, I always say, note to self, is there a better way I can do this in the future? Is there any way I can train this behavior to have the animal's choice more incorporated? Even if it can't be 100% incorporated, I can get it as high as possible. And you'll see this in some upcoming. So yeah, I will use force when the alternative of not using it is worse. If I have to use force, I always try to make sure that I can take as much force of it as possible out. So Sarah asked, is there any video or any steps of how to train restraints? I have a baby Cape and would love to teach him as much as possible. Yes, Sarah, that's exactly what we do in the Parrot Project, in the Pig Project, and in our memberships. We do live stream. That is what our memberships and projects are all about. Individual steps, how to train certain things, monthly Q&As, in detailed interviews, ongoing interaction and engagement afterwards, projects, paper reviews. Yes, yes, yes. Melinda says choice is everything and force is last resort. Yes. Yep. Okay, so you can get your animals socializing. We do this. We keep, most of the animals we keep here are social in nature. Some of them are not. Not every animal is a social creature, and that social interaction could actually be stressful for the animal. So this helps with keeping these cockatoos. I didn't just put them all together. There was a series of steps. We showed that in the Parrot Project as well. because Rico, the one I'm holding in my hand, Captain Destructo, if you do not take slow steps in introducing a new animal, he will attack it, a new bird. So this was me finally getting to the point. Rico used to chase Cello, the roller pigeon. Not so funny, because then that's not safe for Cello. Then Rico gets overstimulated, and that overstimulation quickly turns to a bite, usually directed at me. So I trained it. Let's get back on here, because we've got a lot more to cover in 9 minutes. The perfect time to train a recall in the winter. Get your recalls rock solid, down pat. And I put this photo on because we live, the Animal Behavior Center is on a very busy road. And if these dogs ever got out the front door, that could be detrimental, especially the deaf one who can't hear us calling, or the deaf and blind that can't hear or see us calling. So we need a rock solid recall here. I always plan for accidents. What if that bird gets out the front door? So one of the hardest things for a bird to do is fly straight up or fly straight down. So here is me training a recall with Suki flying horizontally, but see those rafters, and you see Cello up in the rafters in the background. I will stand directly underneath a rafter and ask a bird to fly down to me. That is very hard. When your bird, I don't like to say escapes because it might make it sound like they want out more than they want in. Our aviators here, they usually want in more than they want out. One of the first thing people do when a bird flies out the door, where do they go? Where do they go? They go high so they can see low. They don't like to go on the ground, especially if they're nervous, because they are very vulnerable. So they go high. And what do people do? They go directly underneath that tree and ask that bird to fly down. Most instances, that bird is not trained a recall. That bird is not trained to fly. That's hard for a bird to fly that distance, that angle. So you're likely not to get your bird out. And I train all of our flighted birds. I hope I never have an accident here, but I'm the first one to say accidents happen. We have had them. So I am pretty confident in knowing that every single bird, dog, pig, animal, minus the porcupine, we're still working on the recall. If it were ever to get outside of the center, my chances, I feel very confident that I would be able to get them back, hopefully before anything could hurt them. So that is why I say I always plan for an accident. So I want to say something Joel said: any instance where force is required, while unfortunate, can also serve to inform our selection of skills to target within our training curriculum. Beautifully said, Joel. Thank you. So train those recalls now. Get them rock solid. Slowly add in distraction. Pay attention to your rates of reinforcement and the types of reinforcers. DISC, guys, DISC. Those of you in the membership and projects know exactly what I'm talking about. This photo could not just be just for a bird. This could be for any animal. We teach animals here to enjoy taking a bath because they have to happen. I taught Snow, our deaf and blind dog, over a series of steps, identified water as a potential reinforcer, bam, started shaping it. She now stands for me in the shower and lets me scrub her whole body. And now introducing her to the blow dryer, which is, I should do a live stream of that. So anyways, this is Rocky getting a shower, and what this is causing him to do, many animals like border collies and cockatoos have a lot of energy that they need to expend daily. And if you get them to expend that energy, it will make your life so much happier. So I like to give Rocky showers, and this is a behavior I had to shape. He was afraid of the water bottle. He was afraid of hoses. He was afraid of anything, a lot of things water related. So I had to shape this behavior. This is a video or a photo of me giving Rocky a shower in the aviary this past summer. He is flapping his wings. He is expending energy. Even if for birds that don't fly, we encourage all of our birds here, flap your wings. That takes a lot of energy because as you see the photos here at the center, I bought this beautiful 10,000 square foot center for animals to run, fly, crawl, climb, hang, whatever they want to do. Where are they most of the time? On me, on my head, by my side. So they don't necessarily like to fly all the time. But if they choose to fly, that choice is there for them. But you can get them flapping their wings in other ways. With dogs and birds and most animals, you give them a shower, it takes them a long time to preen and dry off. Here, you can train grooming procedures, like having the animal's ears cleaned, their eyes cleaned, get them ready for rectal temperature taking. Yahoo! Anything like that. Here, we teach how to do voluntary nail trims on dogs, birds. We're working on the voluntary nail trim from Pocahontas to Porcupine. We teach the pigs. And here's Milo. In the pig project, we do this. Show every single step on how to get an animal to accept grooming procedures. I'm going to get through some of these. Scale training. I love this picture. This is Rico. 466. Holy cow. Thank God the holidays are over. Training is enrichment. That is the only reason I train, guys. You've heard me say before, studies show that if you're actually using positive reinforcement training, it's the animal's preferred form of enrichment. That is the only reason I train. I love providing enrichment for any animal, including humans, because it empowers that animal, gives them a better sense of confidence, and gives them more choices and complexities in their environment. So most of our training here that we do is grooming, vet prep, husbandry behaviors, because we have so many different animals, different things. Here's Levi in the background, our deaf bulldog, and Snow, our deaf and blind puppy. I've trained them both down in station. You can train this. These are great focus and control exercises. Great focus and control exercises. You want to increase the complexity of your training, start training more than one animal. Hey, Molly. Molly asks, where am I located? I am in Northwest Ohio, right outside of Toledo, in a suburb called Sylvania. But we don't usually tell people that because it doesn't matter, because most of our work is international via live streams in our memberships and projects. And we teach people through our live streams weekly how to do this type of training. That way, I am in your home, because a lot of times you bring your dog here, it's not going to act the same way as it does at home. You bring your parrot here, it's probably going to fly and attack my head. I really don't want that. But through the live streams, bam, I am in your house every day, and you have the opportunity to talk to me, ask questions, what have you. So let's move on. Here's some more recall training. With Cello, our roller pigeon, and Willie, the turkey vulture, sunning herself in the background. Here's the photo I wanted to show. This is Rico. He is trained to accept a towel. And then here's Julie Shipman, one of our awesome vet techs here. Well, not here, that she comes in and will help me with grooming. But we do all this training ahead of time. Here's Cash. This is one of few clients that does come in, and we do live stream our work with him. This is getting him ready for a nail trim. Joel says, my dog Phoebe seemed relentless the other night. I immediately started training session. It was just what she needed. Wanted great advice, Lara. Thank you. Hey, Blorian. There's the awesome Blorian that takes our, from Taiwan, that takes all of our coffee with the critters. I've been watching you, Blorian. Thank you. Takes our coffee with the critters and translates into a different language so other people understand. Kudos. Thank you, Blorian. So with Joel, with you just saying that, we've been live streaming in the pig project because there's some behaviors labeled as aggressive that we're working on here that we have changed quickly. And the reinforcers have changed from food back to physical, back to Milo wanting that physical contact from the person that he was starting to charge. So even Crystal told me the other day, she goes, he wants me to train him. She goes, I think he's bullying me into training him. So if that doesn't tell you how mentally enriching and stimulating it is for the animal. Here, accepting training is so huge as a part of enrichment. Huge. You can, through the winter, animals are in enclosures or stuck in our houses. You can train them to accept all these medical procedures that have to have done. Don't wait until your dog, your bird, your pig, or your Eurasian eagle owl is sick before you train it to accept medication. Train it now, because when your animal is sick, they are already under so much stress. And depending on the type of animal it is, such as a bird, any type of additional stress can be a major life factor for your bird. So train these behaviors first. Train accepting temperature checking. Train the stethoscope. Train like ear and eye inspections. Train, I already said that, accepting medication. I guess I just really meant it. Here's Rocky, who would attack a syringe if he saw it. And now here he is starting to take, and yeah, this is sweet stuff in it now. But as you see in the Parrot Project, we don't keep it sweet stuff. Because usually medication is not sweet unless you're taking penicillin. So here is some of the training I do at zoos. The animals are in enclosures for the winter. They can't go outside. It is too cold. So this is Micaiah, the pig-tailed macaque, who I used to be deathly afraid of, that now I have such a strong working relationship with. Accepting a nail trim. I can't get you out. You cannot get out of your enclosure, Micaiah. What are we going to do? Let's train. So that is exactly what we do. Train to step on the scale. Focus and control exercises. When you pair the scale with such awesome things happening, you will see two dogs starting to fight to get on the scale. So train them what you want to do. What's the behavior you want? If Quincy kept rushing to the scale and I couldn't get Levi on, so why don't you reinforce it down while the other dog gets on the scale? And here's all three of our dogs. I learned not to say looking forward to. Here is all of our dogs sitting on cue, stationing on cue, and getting ready for nail trims. Molly says, my Great Dane hates her nails touched. I have sedated her to trim her nails. I hate it. Is there a way to change it? Absolutely, Molly. Absolutely. Same thing with Milo, our mini pig. I cannot put him under for a hoof trim. It's dangerous. So why don't we just train it? And Quincy, I don't know if I have pictures of Quincy. Quincy doesn't like her feet touched, and yet she lets me trim her nails. And I trained it through small approximations. And you can train this, Molly. Get a hold of me. We work on this in our level 1 membership program. So I just have a couple more slides. There's Pocahontas, the porcupine with the snowball. You guys, when I'm done with this live stream, I will jump back on here and post some of these videos from the snow yesterday. I think you guys are going to love it. I just wanted to show real quick. We just added another coffee mug, Rocky Valentine, our mascot of the center, just in time for Valentine's Day. So pay attention to our events page on our website. Here you'll see it, because we have upcoming things getting ready to happen, such as we're launching our live webinars. We've got our first one scheduled for March 15th. Seats are limited, open to level 2 members, all at no charge. If they're parrot related, they are offered to the Parrot Project members at no charge. If they are pig related, they will be offered to pig people at no charge. Level 2 gets every single webinar at no charge, no matter what it is. Level 1 will get ones that are specific. But here's our upcoming list for Coffee with the Critters. Next week, we have a Q&A. The following week is co-hosting with Deb Jones, professional dog trainer. And then the following week is an interview with Dr. Jason Crean on, I think it's going to be on apple cider vinegar's health role in our animals' daily lives. So, bink, hello. Do you guys like this format? Are you liking it? I'm trying to bring you as much content as possible. But thanks for joining for another episode of Coffee with the Critters. You guys can find our website here at theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. If you guys ever have any questions, I always personally check my emails. That comes directly to me. And everybody that knows me knows that I sit down and answer each one. That is why I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning every single day. So thanks for watching another episode of Coffee with the Critters. Love having you guys on here. Can you go in the bird room and still use this software? Yes, Tim. And do you guys want me back in the bird room? Is that where you would rather me be? I'd rather be out there, but sometimes it's really hard for me to focus because training's always happening. I'm always jumping up and training something, and then coming back, I'm always jumping up and reinforcing a behavior happening over here. Tell me, do you like it better back in the center? All I need to do is, in order, Susie says yes, yes, I can jump up and give training demonstrations when I'm back in the center. Yeah, so all I need to do, Tim, is get a longer Ethernet cable. Love seeing the training. Okay, join me next week. We will have our Q&A back out in the center, and that will allow me, as you guys are asking, I know my focus is a lot better right here, Janice. That'll allow me to, as you guys are asking questions, to go jump up and give some training demonstrations. Good to see reinforcing behavior. All right. Well, thank you guys. We're going on in 2 months. We will be going on 3 years of Coffee with the Critters live every Sunday morning. So if you know of anybody this broadcast, our live streams can help, please share this content. Until next time, until next week, I will see you back here on Coffee with the Critters. Thanks, guys.